Alright y'all, so here we are outside the greenhouse. I'm gonna put this Sabara Jabo in there, but this thing needs a repot real bad. Roots are popping out of the bottom, starting to get real chloritic. It's got some issues, and it's just time for a bigger pot. So we're gonna set this thing up and put it into a 20 gallon from the 15 it's in right now. So we got our soil mix I'm gonna mix over there. We got some Fox Farm, which is a common weed growing soil. It's real nutritious, it's got a lot of peat, very acidic. Have some pumice, which is called DryStall. You can get that at equestrian stores, farm stores, and they have some ProMix. ProMix is a mostly peat-based soil, so it's also acidic, and we're going to use that because it's very porous, lets you water the plant more often. Fox Farm's got the nutrition, and then we're going to mix some hollytone in there as well, which is going to take this plant to the next level. So I'm just trying to get it all set up so that I can put some grafts. I got some Paulista coming. And I'm going to be getting a bunch of different types from Jonah up there in Santa Cruz. So we are going to graft the heck out of this thing. I also have some fruiting scions on my larger Sabara, which is in a 50 gallon now. So we're going to try to get this thing fruiting nice and early and make it a cocktail as well. So I'll just detail how we repot this thing and what that soil mix looks like. Give you some more details along the way. So here's a look at this soil that I prepped up. You can see it's pretty light. It's got a good amount of perlite in it, and that pumice is in there, and you can see some of those stones. Perlite likes to float to the surface, and that sucks because then you just have a bunch of perlite on top of your pot. And pumice likes to stay in place and keep some water in and let that water flow through. So I like to use in pumice when I can find it, instead of perlite. Alright, so something I've been doing here lately is putting a little bit of the pumice at the bottom, which is going to help with drainage. Just going to give this soil one last mix here. Try to get all that ProMix off the bottom there. So just kind of sprinkle a little bit of this on there. Just a little layer. Find that stuff works great. Keeps some of the moisture. And the other thing that's helpful about it is the worms will leave you alone. So if you have to put these on top of soil, the worms aren't going to come in and absolutely eat all of that nutrition in your soil, which you need. So here we go. Got that thing all squared away. That's going to be about the right height. I just hit this pot around the outside. It kind of loosens it. And I'll take some of the soil from the top. Stuff's just going to spill. Grab this thing nice and low. There you go. It's a nice looking root ball. So let's see how this thing sits in here. Looks all right, but a little too high. So we're just going to dig ourselves a little deeper hole in the soil we've put in. Plop this thing in there. It's looking pretty nice. I think we can even take a little bit of soil out of there. Oh, we lost our bottom. Every once in a while, just going to have a little casualty like that. That's okay. Clearly these roots didn't want to be on. So we're just going to throw that over there. So you have a couple options with Jaboticaba. You can leave it in the same pot, and once it gets root bound, it'll fruit a lot faster for you. Or you can step it up, and it'll take kind of a year off and build out some roots, grow vegetatively, and turn into a bigger tree. My other larger fruiting Sabara It's in a 50-gallon now. It's fruiting. So sometimes just got to do what's good for the tree and put it in a new pot. In this case, this tree was really starting to get chloritic and it had some issues with the soil. Just didn't have any nutrition in there anymore. This thing is, you know, of a good size. It's going to need to eat. So, no big deal. Let's put it into a new pot. So, starting to get pretty full on soil, but I'm very glad that I made a whole wheelbarrow full, because a 20-gallon is a big pot. So, see how that spreads out. I like to kind of press it into the corners. Just going to kind of stuff it in there a little bit. And this tree is going to be infinitely more happy in this bigger pot. It was so root bound at the bottom and poking roots out into the soil that we have here. And our native soil in California tends to be down in the south, where I'm at, very alkaline. And that alkaline soil locks your jabo out from important nutrients. This thing's all done. Went from the 15-gallon into the 20. And it's going to be a whole heck of a lot happier now, that's for sure. So there we go. The jabo is in its semi-permanent home in the greenhouse. Just going to give it my pH corrected water. So jabos love water. Give it lots. Give it water often. And try to keep your pH in check. If you notice any of those chloritic signs, yellowing on the leaves, you can either give it a chelated iron or you can correct the pH and then you don't have any of these problems. So there we go. There you have it. Done.